Good morning. Today is TBR day. February is right around the corner, and these are the ones that I've narrowed down to for sure going to pick up next month. Welcome back. I'm Morgan, and let's dive into our reading plans. At the beginning of the year, my original plans for February were, let's do a mood read. It's the month of love, maybe romanticities, and just read and pick up. I'm gonna keep knocking that thing. Oh my gosh. But past me kept clicking the ooh, this arc sounds cool button. And so I have several that I need to get read now because they're all going to be publishing soon. So I need to get them read. First up is not actually a February TBR item, but more of a carryover because I am starting it on the 30th. I pre-ordered it. I did. I'm getting the audiobook for House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third in the Crescent City series, and I'm sure I won't be done as it's the last 2 days of January and just not gonna have time to binge read that book, binge listen to even that book. Haven't heard of Crescent Cities. It is following Bryce Quinlan, who is a half-fae female who works for an antiquities dealer, cool enough, and she went through something very traumatic 2 years ago. From the point of most of the book, you will cover that point at the very beginning of the book, and since then her life has changed dramatically. At our main point in the timeline of the book, you are following her as she has been contacted by the Archangel Governor over the city of Lunathian, or Crescent City, to investigate a series of murders that were very similar to something she had witnessed before. Even though she has nothing to do with this except for that, she's tapped to, give her insight and expertise into this because they want it kind of hushed. And also, something might be attacking her, going after her in general. And she is given then a protector of Hunt Athalar, who works for the governor, who is an angel himself, and you'll also see through him, as at first his thoughts on Bryce are, she's a party girl and everything, and they have to work together. Their snarkiness is amazing. If you don't like that though, it would probably not be a good choice for you. Talk too long probably on this one since it's not a February TBR item. For the arcs though, I'm going to try to read them in release date order, and the first step would be the one releasing on Valentine's Day, and this is Stormheim, The Train Through Time by Richard Blanco. This is a fantasy novel. After her homeworld was destroyed by an anomaly in the form of a massive nimbus, Shea was rescued by a galactic empire and now serves as a protector, one of an elite force whose goal is to save survivors from the world-ending threat and find a way to end it once and for all. The elders on her new home believe that the key to stopping the anomaly lies with Shah and her connection to the planet called Gaia, inhabited by highly advanced human species. So Shah gathers a team and departs for Gaia, only for an explosion to open a dimensional rift that swallows her ship whole. When Shah crash lands on Gaia, she finds a medieval feudal society on the verge of extinction. Shah and her crew must fight for their lives in a dangerous world full of monstrous AI, rival clans eager to start a war, and sinister warlord who knew they would come and has planned for this moment. If they fail, not only will Gaia fall, but all hope of stopping the anomaly will die. Next up is one that comes out at the end of February. It's a murder mystery, and it just sounds so amusing. It's called I Only Read Murder by Will Ferguson, and I am Ian Ferguson. Miranda Abbott, once known for the crime-solving, karate-chopping church pastor she played on network television, has hit hard times. She's facing ruin when a mysterious postcard arrives, summoning her to Happy Rock, a small town in the Pacific Northwest. But when she gets there, nothing is what she expected. In dire straits, she signs up for an amateur production at the Happy Rock Little Theater. On opening night, one of the actors is murdered live in front of the audience. But no one actually saw what happened. Now everyone is under a cloud of suspicion, including the town doctor, the high school drama teacher, an oil-stained car mechanic, and an elderly gentleman who may have been in the CIA, and Miranda herself. Clearly, the only way to solve this mystery is for Miranda to summon her skills as television's Pastor Fran, and because the show must go on. It just sounds like it. This is the first in possibly a trilogy, because it's got at least book 1, 2, and 3 listed. No names for the second 2 books, but somewhere in between all of these or after those, I'm going to listen to Lesser Devils by Christopher Rocchio. This is the novella that falls between books 1 and 2, and this follows Crispin Marlowe, the younger brother of our main character, Hadrian. It is said that the novellas aren't necessary to the overall story, but I feel like they might add more flavor and depth. So I'm going to get them, especially considering I can just listen to it on Audible for free. Next up is The Mystery Writer by Sulari Gentile. This is the same author who wrote The Woman in the Library, also a mystery book, and that one, I loved that one. I loved the way it was, and it was framed, and you couldn't quite pick out who the culprit was. And also it had a second story, because it's a book within a book with a story happening around it that you don't really see the whole picture of much, because mostly you're just focusing on the book. And I love that. This one probably will be set up differently, but still, I am super excited to try her works again. There's nothing easier to dismiss than a conspiracy theory until it turns out to be true. When Theodosia Benton abandons her career path as an attorney and shows up on her brother's doorstep with 2 suitcases and an unfinished novel, she expects to face a few challenges. Will her brother support her ambition or send her back to finish her degree? What will her parents say when they learn of her decision? Does she even have what it takes to be a successful writer? What Theo never expects is to be drawn into a hidden literary world in which identity is something that can be lost and remade for the sake of an audience. When her mentor, a highly successful author, is brutally murdered, Theo wants the killer to be found and justice to be served. Then the police begin looking at her brother, Gus, as their prime suspect, and Theo does the unthinkable in order to protect him. But the writer has left a trail, a thread out of the labyrinth in the form of a story. Gus finds that thread and follows it, and in his attempt to save his sister, he inadvertently threatens the foundations of the labyrinth itself. To protect the carefully constructed narrative, Theo Benton and everyone looking for her will have to die. And then we will be reading Sun Eater, Volume 2, Book 2. Sun Eater Book 2, Howling Dark by Christopher Arrocchio. The Sun Eater, though, follows Hadrian Marlowe as he is telling his tale at a distant point in the future of his life, how he came to be this infamous character and what happened within this empire of the galactic spanning empire of humankind in their war against an alien intelligent species called the Cillian. So it spans planets and time and I already said planet, the galaxy, and races, and I am so excited to continue this one. I did the whole review for the first book, and I will do the review for the second book. Might do like a mini review for the novella. Haven't decided yet. Maybe. And finally, if there is still time at the end of the month after all of these, I'm going to pick something from my Kindle library that TBR's been building up a little bit. It's not so big yet as the physical one. Though there are some on there that I have physical copies for too, and this way I don't have to maybe mess up one of my special editions. That's a good thought. We'll see. But I was thinking I would pick something romantic-y though for February, even though Valentine's Day will be long past. I did it again. I'd love to know what y'all are reading in February. Are you going to be reading any of the same things as me, like continuing the Sun Eater series? Have you binged, or are you binging Crescent City 3, House of Flame and Shadow, Hossif? What's the acronym for this? How are we pronouncing that? And if you enjoyed this video and you haven't yet, please consider subscribing or checking out some of my other videos to see if you want to. And I just hope you're finding something great to read today, and I'll see y'all in the next one.